sense that his appointment has not only generated the conversation around the country that the government is being constituted to concentrate in one part of the country over and above others. In the case of Buhari, you could argue that he favored the north, as people have canvassed. But when you go to the north, you see that it is populated by northeast, northwest, and north south. There was a democratic appointment there. But when it came to this present government, if you look at it, the southeast and the south-south are left behind. The dominance of the appointment is in the southwest. Then even when you go further in the southwest and you begin the conversation, there are quite a number of people in the southwest who will tell you that the appointment was concentrated in Lagos. And even when there was need to appoint people who come from other parts of the southwest other than Lagos, choices were made for the Lagos boys over and above these other states where you had the grassroots people that work for the party.
Quite embarrassing that we are moving backward in this country. Muhammadu Buhari spent 8 years solidly supporting his people, electing his people, appointing his people, recommending his people. Now Tinubu has gone to power, even though he illegitimately got there. But he has shown that it is the tribal sentiment he came for. He came to balance the equation. When are we going to have people that will put Nigeria first? After Ambassador left, Yar'Adua came and was also open. Unfortunately, it could not last long. Goodluck Jonathan went there and he was blackmailed to spend all his time supporting the northern agenda. I say because Yar'Adua did not finish his term. That's how Jonathan spent 6 years doing everything for the north. Buhari came and refused to balance it. Continue for the north. Tinubu has come now. Yorubas. Yoruba oye! Che! Ekaro, Ekason. No wahala. By the time the next president comes to power, maybe from anywhere, the person to service, when is it going to be Nigeria's turn? And this is the kind of nepotistic agenda that you guys are selling. So when these Yoruba guys are in the comment section shouting and hitting at us and cursing us and laying curses, it's not because they love Nigeria, because it's their turn. Yoruba lokan. No wahala! God go do am. And God go pursue fly for car we not get it. And we dey now we are the victim. And we are the I not just want to talk.
Well, thank you for having me and good evening to Nigerians. When the appointment of minister started, I think I did not hide my feelings or opinion on the matter, but I'm one of the over 200 million Nigerians. And I felt that that the administration at that time was not looking at competence, so to speak. And the other part of it is that he wasn't also looking at the loyalty of members of the party, because we have seen how other people were appointed who you can beat your chest and say they did not work enough as compared to many others who are capable. I maintain the position that it is a case of square peg and round holes. And we have seen it at least the past few weeks, which they've commenced. There are quite a number of them. We haven't seen them operate yet because, their ministries have not been called to duty. But there are some of them that have started operating. And I think that it is evident at the moment that a lot of them are yet to understand the intricacies of the ministry. But what happened in this month of September even escalate the conversation further. That is not just the issue of a round peg and square holes. It is also the question of nepotism. And permit me 1 minute, let me give you a background. You see, in the month of September, this September, Apple company released iPhone. They call, the biggest of it all, they call it iPhone 15 Pro Max. They said it is the escalation and the improvement of that iPhone over and above the previous ones. APC as a political party was the party that commenced this idea of nepotism in government. I remember when President Buhari was in power, people complained about nepotism, even though some of his people could put up a defense to show you in a whole appointment and to prove to you that the Southwest got more during his time, only that in specific areas you have people in the North. But that argument could not sail through. But he left in 2015. So it's like iPhone 13 Pro Max. By the time President Tinubu took over, he's not even exceed iPhone 14, and it went straight to iPhone 15 Pro Max, in the sense that his appointment has not only generated the conversation around the country that the government is being constituted to concentrate in one part of the country over and above others. In the case of Buhari, you could argue that he favored the north as people have canvassed. But when you go to the north, you see that it is populated by northeast, northwest, and north south. There was a democratic appointment there. But when it came to this present government, if you look at it, the southeast and the south are left behind. The dominance of the appointment is in the southwest. Then even when you go further in the southwest and you begin the conversation, there are quite a number of people in the southwest who will tell you that the appointment was concentrated in Lagos. And even when there was need to appoint people who come from other parts of the southwest other than Lagos, choices were made for the Lagos boys over and above these other states where you had the grassroots people that work for the party. In a nutshell, the appointment is projecting. The constitution says the government must not be run in a way that it will reflect the dominance of one part of the country over the other. Ordinarily, we shouldn't be even talking about where does the person come from. We should be talking about performance. But heck, this is where we are as a country. We've come to a point where performance has failed a lot of people, and then we are now talking about the idea of a government being constituted which does not reflect the unity of Nigeria. So this is, in my view, the crux of the matter. Oftentimes, when issue is raised like that, people ask the question whether it is legal or not legal, whether a law is broken or a law is not broken. Now, the Constitution is a very broad document. There is an aspect of the Constitution that talks about minister coming from every state. Then there is an aspect of the Constitution, in fact, Section 14, that talks about governance must be structured in a manner that it will reflect diversity and the unity of the country. Now, if somebody does not obey that, is it justiciable? It has not been tested, and you're most likely not going to get an outcome. But the whole idea of a nation is about commanding national loyalty, because if you look at Section 14, it also says so that it will command national loyalty. That is the crux of national security, that the people of the country are loyal to the country because they believe that the country reflects the diversity of the people and the country respects the diversities of Nigeria. Take, for example, the Southeast. Apart from the constitutionally guaranteed appointment that they have, which is five for five, they have not gotten anything significant. As a matter of fact, apart from Minister for Works, all the other appointments that are given to them, the appointment that people could sit down and tell you it is not significant. The question you have, so if you talk about law or not law, why is the Southeast particularly not taken into consideration in this? Then you can stretch it to other parts of Nigeria, right? Like the North Central as well. They also complain about that. Now, when a government is in power, and I often hear the argument that the man does not want to fail, allow him to choose whoever he wants to choose, as if he cannot find the same competent people in every part of Nigeria. You can have equal distribution of position and have equal competent people in every part of the country. So if you want to give an argument to counter these concerns that Nigerians are raising, I think that part of argument will not be strong enough, because there is no, except if you are insinuating that apart from this part of the country that he has selected the people majorly from, the rest of the other parts of the country do not have the people that can help him succeed, when you say you don't want him to fail. So if he does not choose all of these people or the volume of these people from this part, and he attempts all other part, that there is likelihood that he may not succeed. But absurdity, and this is where, for example, politics is matched with governance. When you bring in, for example, technocrats, people who have never participated in politics, you need to understand the reason why political appointments are balanced within technocrats and politicians is because the whole idea of politics is an association of like minds that come together with an ideology to take control of power with the aim of delivering on the good governance to the Nigerian people. There is no defense to that. Now, I don't particularly want to say Tinubu as a person is someone who has been known for this nepotistic kind of operation. But you see, once you come into Villa, a different spirit comes on you or operates around there. And that is exactly what we are seeing. But I am not surprised, because he said, I will replicate what I did in Lagos. Some people did not know. So he has replicated it in the center by bringing the Lagos boys. Then secondly, why are you surprised when he said, Emilio Kun, it is my turn? So whatever he does, and in my humble view and with the greatest respect, I am appealing to the president to be himself in the governance of the affairs of the country and not allow influences that are not particularly protecting the national security interests of government in carrying out the affairs of government. There is no justification for that, because there are parts of this country that are ignored. In fact, you can even when we go further to interrogate on the competence or compellability of these individuals, that people say he doesn't want to fail. Most of these people, we applaud them, we celebrate them, but look at their last place of work. Some of them ran bank that went aground. Some of them held positions that went aground. And you can find in every part of Nigeria equal bankers, equal economists, equal lawyers, and in every part. So to me, when you look at a government that is being constituted in this kind of way, you may not be able to command the loyalty of the people. And loyalty is key in legitimacy. Loyalty is key in government.
Parts have been neglected. Are there some parts you know specifically? Maybe you're from Borno State. Is your state being neglected in what way particularly? Just before I take this to Mr. Audu quickly now.
I am not here to talk about my state. My state has produced the vice president, and the vice president is a competent person, a person who has vast experience, and I respect that. And I also know that there is a minister that is represented from my state. It's not about me. We have gone beyond making argument for your state. We are talking about national unity. We are talking about moving the country beyond this primordial consideration. And you can never fulfill the idea of the Nigerian dream operating from this kind of way. We thought that Buhari's administration, which was lauded, in fact, there are people who can make the argument that Buhari made, if you look at overall, more appointments in the Southwest than in any part of the geopolitical zones. It's arguable, but people have facts to support that.
So let me take this back to
in this case, President Bwalya is working in that line.